So yeah, like I said before, Fandom Knight is coming back. It's going to be good. I literally think so. I think everything I'm looking at here makes me feel like this is a good move. Let's talk a little bit about it. So I had the chance to talk to the crew, and Fandom Knight, I'm telling you guys, it looks like this is an absolutely great idea. Everything that's coming up, the ideas that are rolling in, the idea of going back to filming, the idea of building a stage, the idea of bringing back old skits and things like that we used to do, almost every single thing that we are talking about is coming up. It's coming up aces, guys. It really is. Like almost every single thing that we have spoken about so far is making this look like a good idea. See, Fandom Knight was not a small thing for us. It was a huge deal. It was when we were literally at our best, and we got hit by a lot of stuff that slowed us down bad, and we were trying to make the shows way too big, way too time sensitive. I'm going right over the crap that we've already talked about before, but look, there's a reason I'm going back into it. Because you need to understand just how big of a deal this really was to us. Fandom Knight was huge. It was an absolute drive in terms of everything that we had going for us. Everything. Guys, that was our best time. When we were talking about everything and anything. And we had 9 friggin' shows. But we messed up. We messed up because we didn't realize how those shows would work. And the problems that it would cause us trying to keep them going. But we've learned something. We've learned a lot. The new format is going to save us major headaches. I'll explain it to you. So right now, the way the show works, currently, it is only the Sentai Review. And that has caused issues. Issues that we are having a lot of trouble with, and we are moving towards burnout. 100% burnout, to the point where the show is gonna die. It's gonna die. We're fighting with each other. We're irritated. We're tired. We're tired of talking always about Riders, always about Super Sentai, always about Power Rangers, and never breaking off into anything. We have a lot of interests. We sit around all night long talking about Gundam, talking about anime, talking about fights, talking about martial art movies, talking about movies in general, Star Wars and Star Trek and everything, and none of it, in fact, a lot of it actually, is bleeding into the Sentai Review, and it's making us realize that the reason it's happening so often is because it's all we want to do is just break off. I have a thing where I will sometimes go on my Discord, and I will talk to fans. And sometimes these conversations devolve into Rider. All night long, for like 6.5 hours. And yes, that's not an exaggeration. There are times that I get on and I hang out with the fan base for literally upwards of about 4 hours or more. It's random, but I do it. And I enjoy it. But every now and then it devolves to this point where, like I said, it's just talking about Riders, talking about Riders, talking about Riders, talking about Riders, talking about Riders. Show Bill this Rider, show Bill this Kamen Rider thing. You guys talked about that. This is all stuff that's pretty cool. It's the fan base that is most interested. But we are reaching a point where it's causing a burnout. And rather than go through that burnout, we know what the problem is. Fandom Knight is our chance to fix it. We are We are going back to what we used to be. And we're making major changes in the idea that we are going back. Now, this is going to open up the floor to everything and anything we want to talk about. We're still going to stream live, just like we have been, and it's going to be the Sentai Review. In fact, I believe the next time that we stream, it's going to be another hour-long episode, just like we normally do, and I believe it's going to be covering more of the villains. It's either that, or we're going to cover one of the writers or something. I'm not 100% sure. It's going to be a Sentai Review, just like it always has been. That show is not meant to change. But we're only going to do one. We're only going to do one. And the reason is because after Rider, we're going to start filming Fandom Knight. The way that show is going to work is the folders will be smaller, but it will allow us to create a mini podcast. Here's the idea. Here's how the episodes would work. We start them up and we do exactly what we've been doing with the Sentai Review. We'll do costume reviews. We'll do topic conversations and things of that nature, but the folders will only be about anywhere from 10 to 15 pictures long. And we're going to talk about all kinds of stuff. All kinds of stuff. Just rearing so far, I've been sent a whole lot of Gundam folders. And I've been talking about it for a while that I was going to do it on this channel, but I got to thinking about it, and this channel is not about doing those things. Every now and then I come in and I review something on my own, and that works fine. But the format that people are looking for when they ask me to talk about Gundam is the Sentai Review format. But it doesn't work as a Sentai Review episode. It's not the right thing. But it is a Fandom Knight thing. And as Fandom Knight, I'm currently going through these folders, and I have a lot of them. I have Gundam, the Stardust. I have the Stardust Memory, 0083. I have MS. I have the original. I have manga stuff, so I have manga variants of things like that, and battleships and different things, and mobile armors. And basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going through and I'm breaking these into single episodes. So when we do a Fandom Knight episode, if you want to hear your favorite part, that's going to be real simple now. Sometimes people have told me that they'll look for the pictures to kind of get an idea of where we are in our conversation, and that's what they're interested in, and that's what they want to see. Well, that's going to be way easier for you now. See, there's an RGM 79D Gym Custom. RGM 79D Gym Custom Cold District type episode. We're going to talk about just that. It's a mini podcast. We get on, it runs anywhere from 10 minutes to a half an hour, depending on how we get to discussing it and whether we end up falling into conversation like, these were featured in so-and-so, I remember that, amazing fight scene, yada yada, we might end up talking. If that's where we go, that's where we go. And that's all the episode is. When it's done, it's done, and that episode gets posted, and if you're interested, you're interested, and if you're not, you move on. But you don't have to root through a 2.5 hour long episode to find the topics you want anymore, to see the things that might interest you. If we're going to talk about video game topics, it's going to have a folder. And we're just going to talk about the video game topic, if not a video game in general. We're going to do old Let's Plays and things like that we left behind that we never got to finish, and little tournament fighters where we used to do Fandom Night group things where we got together and we did like a tournament fighter where we did, everybody got down on Street Fighter 1 or whatever, or Street Fighter 2 or Street Fighter 3, and we played the game. And we literally built a bracket, like a tournament bracket, and we played through it. And they were pretty good episodes. We did it for Mortal Kombat 1 and Mortal Kombat 2, and we did it for the Power Rangers fighting game, and it worked. They were decent episodes, but episodes that have been forgotten because we're not Fandom Night anymore. But we are. And we keep saying it and keep saying it and keep saying it, but we keep producing only the Sentai Review. And this is what's going to be different about it. I currently have 6 Daredevil episodes that are ready to go up. We're going to be talking about the Daredevil 90s armor, Daredevil Ben Affleck, Daredevil Black Suit, Daredevil Netflix, Daredevil Red, and Daredevil Yellow. Those are 6 individual podcasts all talking about Daredevil. And we're going back to certain topics that may have gotten shortchanged or judged improperly. Because sometimes when you're doing a 2.5-hour episode and it starts to wear on you and you've seen a bunch of garbage and you're really kind of tired of it, you come to this point where the next guys don't get a fair treatment. And we're just kind of like, these guys suck. Or, oh, it's another guy. This guy with this color. Give him a 2. Move on. I'm tired of seeing him. That won't have to happen anymore. We have learned from doing the show as long as we have that there are certain guys that got screwed. So, in terms of doing this, as we continue the Sentai review in its normal format, Fandom Knight will be going back to do certain reviews that maybe weren't treated fairly. Certain guys will not get this treatment, of course, but others will. We will be going back to talk about things like G-Force, Battle of Planets, Battle of the Worlds, I believe is what it's called, or Battle of the Planets, or Gatchaman. It went by a couple of different names, but that's already got a folder. It's a topic that's going to get a rediscussion, and we're going to revisit certain guys, like common writers that we left behind, that we're going to go back and be able to say, this is just this one guy's episode. We're going to talk about him for 10 images here and kind of go back and feed into how we feel about this guy now after we've seen so much. Is he still great, or is he fallen off? And it'll give us a chance to incorporate the way that our grading scale works across the entirety of things that we've talked about and need to talk about. We're also going to cover game conversations and comic book conversations and topical conversations that we haven't been having. Things that sometimes we get stuck and we end up bringing something up about Star Trek or something along those lines, or Superman, and then we end up just going into a big, long topic debate about what do you think about this or that, or blah, 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 or how about this, or did you hear in the news or see this? And that stuff happens in the middle of episodes sometimes and drags the episode down, and sometimes people are like, can you move on? Can you rate something? Well, that should become a thing of the past, because these episodes will flow in a very different way now, a very constructed way that's designed for these kinds of conversations. If we're going to talk about Crash Bandicoot or PlayStation, just PlayStation, or something of that nature, that's what we're going to do. And we're going to get back on camera from time to time. I'm already getting underway. I already have 2 ways to film. I've already bought some lights, and we're already starting to build a stage that will allow us to get back on camera and do some of the old episodes like back when Fandom Knight first started, when we talked about things like Kick-Ass 2. And we just had a conversation that you saw live. When we talked about what DLC are you looking for? If you could pick a DLC, like an added character to this upcoming roster for Super Smash Bros., who do you want to see? Or say you had the chance to get rid of a character. Who are you getting rid of? Those were all topic conversations that have completely died because we became only the Sentai review. Fandom Knight coming back is going to be a big deal. It is. It's going to open the show back up in ways that most of the people that have come in here that did not know this, if you came in here lately, recently, and you only know the Sentai review for what the Sentai review is, and you missed out on us doing things like back when we talked about Dead or Alive, back when we talked about Mario games, back when we wanted to talk about every Mega Man game. We never did it. We never did it because we got bogged down in too many shows. But simple, smaller format podcasts will give us the ability to go back and talk about everything and anything we ever wanted to discuss, and give real time to some things that, quite frankly, got skipped over. I really think this is a good idea, and we're getting a lot of positive feedback from this. We already have 27 folders ready to go, 27 individual episodes, some of them Gundam, some comic books, some anime, some writers, Super Sentai, Power Rangers. And this is also our way of going back to do the series conversations. Guys, this is a good idea. Stick with us. There's my dog. There goes my dog. For some reason, she gets uncomfortable if the door is closed and she has to come in here to at least make sure that, like, I'm in here, that she's not alone. It's a dog thing. But guys, I really think this is a good idea. I mean, we've got Supergirl conversations coming up, Spider-Gwen conversations coming up. We have 9 individual Spider-Man conversations coming up. And not just costume reviews, we have topic conversations too. We're going to be able to talk about what was the best animated series in your opinion. What was the best Batman animated series? Let's talk about the different Batman animated series. Let's talk about Ninja Turtles and each individual series and our impressions of what those series were like. Each one can get individual podcast episodes to themselves. The more I talk about this, the more I talk about it with the crew, we've already got ideas lined up. We've even got some ideas for extremely long-term fans. Like, we're talking about bringing the Death Puppet back. And we're actually talking about finally doing these Star Wars episodes. We did Star Wars, Jedi Bill's Hope. Then, originally, we were meant to continue that and do a series of Game Boy Star Wars games, which was going to bring back Darth Nicholas, and it was going to be Darth Nicholas Strikes Back. And then that was actually supposed to lead into Return of the Bill. We had episodes that were lined up and the whole thing fell apart. Fandom Knight crashed on us hard because we were trying to make it too big. This, we've learned a lot. The idea is to make these episodes smaller and self-contained. If we do come back and we do those Star Wars episodes, it's going to be one at a time. Not conquering all 3 games in a very long hour and 10-minute long episode that took a very long time to film and took a very long time to edit and took a very long time to post. We've learned a lot. We've been here for quite a while. And it's about time that we took all the knowledge that we've gained so far and run with it. This is our thing. I told you that I was going to get serious about the YouTube this year for my own channel, and I was going to get serious about it for our channels. And this is it. It is our 100% dive back into everything we ever wanted to do. But this time, we're well more aware of what we can do and what's reasonable and what we can't do and who wants to do and who doesn't want to do. There will be Doctor Who episodes. I will not be in them. I don't have to be in them. I don't have to be in the back of the Daleks episode reading Spider-Man. I mean, sure, maybe some people got some real laughs out of that, but like, it's not necessary. And I don't feel the necessity in tearing down somebody else's fandom for jokes. Everything that we cover has a love behind it, even when we're making fun of it. And I really want that to come through in all the things that we do. And so it's important to not experience heavy burnout, to make this work. This is a good idea. Fandom Knight coming back gives you a little bit more idea of how it's going to work. And I'm already working on tagging and fixing a lot of the episodes and making the playlists and things like that. That's going to be an incredibly slow process. But in terms of posting content, in terms of filming, that starts this weekend. Fandom Knight is back. And we are excited about this. I'm going to get out of here.
I have spoken. Take what you will from it.